Sketch Autobiography. Sarah Lindsay Duncan. CEPY 4150, Psychology of Multicultural Counseling. Lisa McVan, M.A., LPCC, NCC. August 1, 2024. Introduction. I am a white American female that was born and raised in McKinney, Texas. I was born in 1990, so I am a millennial. I am also bisexual and an atheist. I was raised by my grandparents, my dad's parents. We were not dirt poor, but we lived paycheck to paycheck and lived on the poor side of town. My grandparents were raised religiously, as they went to church every Sunday when they were growing up. They did not raise me this way at all. I have been to church maybe 10 times in my life. My grandparents never showed or expressed prejudice towards anyone with a different skin color or ethnic background. I was taught to only judge people by their character. In this paper I will express how I came to determine my thoughts and views on each subject, such as my racial, ethnic, gender, sexual orientation and religious status. What does it mean to be white? My grandparents raised me to never judge people by the color of their skin. They would say to only judge them based on how they act as a person. I still had some social bias when it came to the black kids that I went to school with in elementary. Let me explain. I was not racist towards them, but they would be towards me. The school I went to had mostly black and Mexican kids. Very few white kids. I never thought about judging people based on their skin color, but I remember being in first grade and noticed a table full of black girls. They looked nice and friendly. I was wrong. As soon as I sat down, they told me I could not sit there because I was white. I was shocked. Apparently being white was not cool. I know not all people are like this, and it was first grade, but this made me feel like being white made me less appealing when it came to making friends. I would start to feel insecure more around black kids more so than others. Fast forward now, it seems that today in 2024 I feel like it's racist to be white. Even if you are not racist, just being proud to be white is racism now. I am truly sick of the way racism is thrown around today. Racism is a very nasty thing, and it seems to be thrown out at everything now. You can be proud to be black, you can be proud to be Mexican. If you are proud to be white, then it's racist. I truly feel this way now. It's like being black or Mexican or any other race can get you extra opportunities. Example, a college grant. You can't get a grant for being white or Caucasian because then that would be racist. It's like racism towards white people does not exist or is justified. These are just my current opinions. I do not have any black friends in my life that treat me this way, but it's hard to ignore it on social media. I don't think this is everyone, but it is something I can't ignore. Social media is what has attributed to this unfortunate bias. I have seen many black influencers online trashing white people just for being white. I have seen other black influencers call them out on it and they still think it is justified. I do not feel this way towards all black people, of course, but it's sad when they live up to the negative stereotypes and are proud about it. I am middle class, almost poor. McKinney in the 1990s and early 2000s was split into two main areas. The east side of Highway 75 and the west side. The east side was the older side and was where most of the poverty was. The west side was all new and expensive luxury homes. I did not notice a difference in my social status until I got to middle school. McKinney only had one middle school my first year when I started. This meant that kids from both sides went to the same school. I met a lot more white kids. They did not care to have any interest in me. They were rich and would wear name brand clothing and accessories. If you did not dress expensive like them, then you were nobody. This started my bias towards people that were born into money. I would say that I was a little jealous. Not all, but a lot of my rich friends are a little out of touch with reality sometimes simply because there are struggles that they have never been faced with. Example, having your car break down and having to wait until payday to get it fixed. This does not make them bad people, but they can be hard to relate to. My grandparents were self-employed most of their life and I never had to go without as far as food, clothes, and shelter. We would shop at thrift stores and Goodwill. Even though my clothes were still always nice, they were always bought second-hand. Now, my grandparents are retired and are sitting pretty. They are even paying for my college now. How do I identify? I am a biological female, and I am bisexual. Growing up, gender and sexuality were not discussed. Both my grandparents worked and did things around the house. They were, and still are, a team. I have never been confused about my gender. My grandparents were a little unhinged when they found out I was bisexual. I actually started questioning my sexuality early in puberty when I was in 5th grade. I noticed that I was having crushes on girls in my class as well as boys. I did not know what that meant. Even though I lived with my grandparents, I still saw my mom every weekend and she lived only a few blocks away. She had me at 16, so she was like a big sister more than a mother. I told her about me having crushes on girls and boys. She accepted and said that it's normal and that some people are different. Fast forward a few years into 7th grade. I got my first girlfriend. She would come over and stay the night. We would fool around, but not too much because we were both still virgins and shy. When we were in class, we would pass perverted and sexual notes to each other. One day a teacher caught us and called both our parents in for a meeting. My girlfriend's mom was cool, accepting and understanding. My grandparents were embarrassed. Not because of the letter itself, but because it was to another girl. Being gay or bisexual was not yet as accepted as it is now. My grandparents had nothing against gay people, but they did not expect their 13-year-old granddaughter to be writing such perverted things to another girl. They would have expected it from a 13-year-old boy. Because of their reaction, I felt the need to not tell anyone. I already had many other reasons why I struggled making friends. I did not need another one. I suppressed my attraction to girls almost until I got out of high school. If I was with a girl, I would keep it a secret. I still don't like telling people today that I am bisexual. I feel like today, because of the wide acceptance of LGBTQ now, people make their whole identity or personality based off their sexual orientation. I feel too many people use it for attention or to get some type of privilege. I don't want people to think that I am like this, so I keep my sexuality to myself unless it's necessary to say, like on a dating app. I am a millennial. Each cohort is divided up and labeled based on age and the economy based on that generation at adulthood. According to USC Libraries, millennials were born during 1980 to 1994, USC Libraries, 2024. That makes me a millennial. I am proud to be a millennial and I feel like our generation does not get enough credit for the challenges we have had in life. We are the most educated and known for having college debt. I am currently at $25,000 myself. We were young children before social media and teens and young adults when social media started getting popular. I love my generation, and I am proud to be part of it. However, when it comes to my generation, my bias is towards millennials' parenting skills. It bothers me that for such an educated generation, clueless when it comes to parenting. I see on social media all the time kids acting horrible and the parents are just allowing it. Millennials, in my opinion, have turned gentle parenting into lazy parenting. Children of millennials are already struggling from being born shortly before or during the pandemic. Now instead of teaching them how to cope, millennials are just giving their kids iPads and allowances. I think letting your toddler or young child use an iPad or device like that excessively should be child neglect or abuse. I don't like judging people on their parenting. I know that all children are different and so are parents. There is a reason why the children of millennials are being called the iPad generation. Millennials are letting their children as young as 1-year-old spend endless hours every day on the device, keeping them busy and less trouble for the parent. According to an online article called The Fourth Estate, Generation Z, 97 to 2010, has started to call the younger generation, Gen Alpha, the iPad generation for the excessive use among young children, the generation of iPad kids, 2024. I feel like I have been a little harsh, but my generation is ruining our kids. I hope that it's not as damaging as I feel it is. I don't like religion. Even though my grandparents went to church regularly when growing up, I was not raised with religion at all. My grandparents have expressed before that religion is not what it used to be. When they were young, church was one of the only ways to socialize and come together as a community. I first started questioning whether God was real when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I had recently realized that Santa and the Easter Bunny, stuff like that, were not real. Since I was not really exposed to religion, I assumed maybe he was fictional as well. So that next weekend I asked my mother if God was real, and without hesitation, she said no. My mom also went to church regularly as a kid. She explained that science can disprove half the Bible and common sense debunks the other half. She also said that it was when she was interested in being a Jehovah's Witness that she realized it was not real. I needed a follow-up, so when I got home, I asked my grandparent if they believed in God. They did not say no, but just the fact that some people believe he is. As I got older, I would find every reason I could to see if God was real. Most of the people in my life don't believe or care for religion. I went to a youth church 2 or 3 times to see what it involved, and I just was not entertained. I don't hold anything against people who do believe in God or practice religion. I think we should keep it out of public schools. This is because, for one, there is more than one religion. 2, I think it goes against freedom from religion. What confirmed my disbelief in God and made me feel negative about it was when my husband got cancer. He lived through getting a 7-pound tumor removed just for the cancer to come back and slowly take his life in less than 2 years' time. Where was God at that point? I understand religion has helped a lot of people and it has some positive morals, but I can't be convinced that there is a deity up in the sky that has the power to heal but won't heal everyone. You spend your whole life trying to please God just to get judged on the day you die. I do not think less of people who practice religion. I personally have never benefited from praying or begging God for help. Religion is important to culture, so I keep my religious views to myself, unless someone asks. How will I address bias in my career? When it comes to counseling and helping others, you must understand what your biases are and why you have them. Everyone has some form of bias, and the sooner it can be acknowledged, the easier it will be to try to correct them. I learned that I have several biases that I am not too proud of. When it comes to race, I am biased towards black people that are proud to fit the negative stereotypes of black people. To battle this, I will remind myself that there could be other reasons behind certain behaviors. Black people are far from the only race that will embrace negative stereotypes proudly. Also, when it comes to those that are born with money, I understand that they did not ask to be born wealthy, nor is it their fault that they have never been exposed to some struggle others have. Another thing, I learned that when it comes to your sexuality, it's okay to be proud of it, but it does not have to be your whole existence. If I can't recognize and address my own bias, then I would not be capable of helping someone recognize and understand their own. Overall, recognizing your bias is essential for providing ethical, effective, and compassionate mental health care for your clients. Sources: